And this is a big breaking update that is coming in right now. In India now, pregnant women can also get themselves vaccinated. The Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has gone ahead to accept the recommendations of the NTAGI. Do remember, till now, there was some bit of concern whether pregnant women should be allowed to take their jabs or not. There has been a good amount of debate on that, after which you have seen an expert group of panel on vaccines threadware discussing that entire issue, at the end of which this is a big update that we are learning that the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare now has accepted the recommendations of the NTAGI, and the pregnant women may now register themselves on COVID or walk into the nearest COVID vaccination centers to get themselves vaccinated. Piyush with us for that breaking update. Piyush, I think this is extremely important, as more and more people will be able to get their jabs, and a big concern about pregnant women, because lactating women is something that the health ministry had earlier said can go and get their jabs. Now the same green signal coming in for pregnant women. Piyush.
Well, absolutely. That's the advisory which has now been issued by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Remember that they have other recommendations were made by National Technical Advisory Group on immunization. That vaccination, is safe for pregnant women, and government must take a decision after consultation. What we are learning right now is that now pregnant women are very much eligible for COVID-19 vaccination, and this has the recommendations of NTAGI have now been accepted by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Also, on the other side, what we are learning is that the pregnant women can now go and register on COVID app and also go to a nearest COVID vaccination center to get themselves vaccinated. That's a very big development coming in. Remember that earlier the group of health experts were advising that pregnant women should not get vaccinated as there could be some sort of side effects. But now, after the kind of recommendations those were made by National Technical Advisory Group on immunization, now Health Ministry has accepted these recommendations. We'll have to wait and watch as to how this process is now going to be implemented. The government had also said that after taking up the matter with concerned stakeholders and studying the recommendations of NTAGI, the government will also issue the orders. And now, finally, what we are learning is that this has been accepted by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, which itself is a very good sign.
All right, Piyush, thank you so much for breaking that story here. I want to say good evening to Dr. Neela Mohan, who joins us from the Medanta Hospital. Dr. Mohan, this is an extremely important step where the government of India now has given a green light to all pregnant women, ma'am, who can get themselves vaccinated. How do you look at this? How important was this? And would you also want to put out a word of assurance to all the pregnant women that they can now, safely come forward and get their jabs?
Right. I've been actually talking about it for a couple of weeks or months rather on this issue, because there is no doubt we have proven data to show that pregnant women were more susceptible for severity of infection, like they were in the high-risk cases. And also we showed that they were more preterm babies. So, you have proven that this is a very high risk in pregnancy, both for mother and baby. And then we had good amount of data from the Western world, like USA, where they used the vaccine and showed the safety. So the only problem in India was we had not shown the safety with the vaccine, vector vaccine, and the live attenuated, the kill vaccine, which we were using, unlike the mRNA they used. So I'm very excited about it, because you can understand that the load of pregnant women in India was huge, and giving a confusion that it should be left on the pregnant women to decide was not really acceptable. And not only the National Task Force for Vaccination, but also the SOXI group, which, talks about women, talked about the Gynecologist Association and Obstetrician. Plus, we as pediatricians are looking at the complications that occurred with preterm and the issues with them. We were unanimously agreed to the point that it should be accepted. So I take it as a welcome step for all the pregnant women.
All right. Appreciate Dr. Neela Mohan speaking to us. Ma'am, thank you so much for your time and those words of assurance. And I also want to say good evening to Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, who has been speaking his heart openly again and again. Dr. Bagai, sir, thank you so much for patiently holding that phone line. What in your response really has gone behind this? Because this is a very, very important decision, sir, a very landmark decision, as Dr. Mohan also said, that with the kind of load that India has about pregnant and lactating women, it was extremely important that you cater to that group, because there were concerns about safety and efficacy, considering, not many trials really pick up pregnant women. So what in your, thinking really has worked? And what has the government of India and the health ministry thought before they gave this go-ahead, Dr. Bagai?
Thank you. Thank you for having me. So let's look at the science behind it. So very quickly, to give some certain important facts, pregnancy itself is a high-risk state. So the immune function of a pregnant lady is little lower as with respect to a non-pregnant woman. So the pregnancy itself is a risk factor for catching COVID. Now, if unfortunately any pregnancy is infected with SARS-CoV-2, which causes COVID-19 disease, there is a risk of 25 to 50% more for a cesarean, a risk of almost 15 to 20% more of a preterm or a newborn complication. And the babies which are then subsequently born are showing a much longer stay in the NICU, that's the neonatal ICU, from 3 to 5 days more. So obviously the impact on the mother and the baby both is significant. Therefore, the reasoning behind this was to immunize the pregnant ladies. Now, what it has shown is that there is a extremely good, robust, both humoral and T-cell response. So the pregnancy induces a very good response to the neutralizing antibodies and your T-cells and your memory cells. So it's a very good response, and this crosses the placental barrier. The newborns show an extremely good response. So the newborns born on day 1 to day 2 have what we call as immunoglobulin G, IgG, protective antibody. So in reality, it's an indirect effect on the newborn too as a protective effect. There are no side effects of the vaccines which have been significantly seen in pregnancy. India produces 28 million newborns. So that means there are more than 28 million pregnancies which happen annually in India. So it's a significant proportion of approximately 2.5 to 3 crores which need protection. It's a good step forward, and we should push this very, very aggressively, and we should promote this to show that it's not only protecting the pregnant lady, it's also protecting the fetus within.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I think those are words of wisdom, Dr. Bagai. Thank you so much, like always, for your time and your expertise, sir. I thank you right now for speaking to us.